Hello guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about the first road legal car to reach 200 miles per hour, Ferrari F40. It came exactly 35 years ago in 1987 to celebrate 40th anniversary of the company. And this is the last car to be personally approved and seen by the founder of maybe the best sport car in the world, Enzo Ferrari. After the model F40, he approved as well the successor of the very successful model 308-328, Ferrari 348, but actually he never seen the model because it was reviewed in 1989. This car here in front of us is one of the best examples in the world. It's very low miles, 100% original, and has all the additional stuff with the car. It's Classic certified, it has the leather suitcases and leather bags, all the original pouches and all the papers and documentations, so the tools, original toolkit, so the car is absolutely original. Ferrari F40 was presented for the first time on 1987 at the Maranello Civic Center, where Enzo Ferrari itself was presenting the car. Was successor of the very special 1984 Ferrari model 288 GTO, which was developed to homologate Group B racing car Ferrari 288 GTO Evoluzione. Ferrari needed to build 200 road-going cars 288 GTO, which was the limit, but on the end they built 272 cars and 5 ready for Group B racing Ferrari 288 GTO Evoluzione. But because Group B was cancelled, these 5 cars eventually were good for nothing, and Ferrari sold them to collectors. But before to sell them, Ferrari decided to use again the chassis and the design, and to make a road legal car. And Ferrari F40 was born. So this is the very short story how actually Ferrari F40 was born, and from that moment became one of the greatest car in the world. First, Ferrari was planning to build only 400 F40 cars. But on the end, in 1992, when the last Ferrari F40 was built, actually some racing versions later, the production number went up to 1,315 Ferrari F40 cars. If Enzo Ferrari was alive, probably he wouldn't agree with that, but in the reality, on that time Ferrari needed money to invest in Formula 1 because Formula 1 wasn't going good in late 80s, early 90s. Also, the potential customers who wanted to buy F40, there were more than 2,000 people. So more than 2,000 people were asking to buy the first road legal 200 miles per hour car. And actually the car was very expensive, over $400,000 US. And all these 1,315 customers were chosen very carefully. So what is actually Ferrari F40? It's a mid V8 engine rear-wheel drive car based on Ferrari 288 GTO Evoluzione. But GTO Evoluzione was based on 288 GTO, which was based on 308 GTB. Just the wheelbase was extended with 100 mm to 2 meter 450 mm to accommodate the longitudinally instead of transversely in 308 engine. But in reality, everything with 308 finish up to here. The design of F40 was done by Pininfarina, one of the greatest designers house in the world, and in 1987 was absolutely brutal and radical. It's a two-door, two-seat sports car, by today's standard probably is a hypercar. The engine, how we mentioned earlier, is a V8 2.9 liter cc with 2 turbo compressors, IHI, the Japanese turbos, similar to the Ferrari 288 GTO, with wastegate of course. The sound is absolutely incredible and scary, and between the banks actually is 90 degrees and producing 478 horsepower. There are 213 US specs cars from all 1,315. They are a bit different and actually a little bit heavier because of the US regulations. Some additional stuff in the bumpers, etc. Because of that, they are a little bit more powerful than the European versions. The V8 engine is based again on the 308 model, but is very highly modified. The gearbox is a 5-speed manual dogleg. This means the first is left and down. This is very old racing style because many years ago the racing cars been using mostly second and third gear, and on the H pattern second and third are in line, which make them easy to change, just using one line from the H pattern. Anyway, just manual 5-speed gearbox. The car is long, 4 meter, 358 millimeters. The US versions are a little bit different because how we said earlier, the bumpers, they're a little bit different. The car is wide 1 meter 970 millimeters and is high just 1 meter 120 millimeters. The wheelbase we mentioned earlier is 2 meter 450 millimeters. The curb weight is very interesting actually. Now we have two main versions of Ferrari F40. Let's say the early cars and the late cars. But the early cars are just 50 in total, from 1315. These 50 cars are much lighter than the others because they are very, very basic. The later cars are basic as well, but early ones are, by some sources, which I have from late 80s, just 1,100 kilograms. Imagine the car is just 1,100 kilograms, 478 horsepower. Even the car was lighter than the 288 GTO, which is 1,160 kilograms. The early cars are even with Lexan sliding windows, fixed suspensions, etc. etc. Some of the later cars are with catalytic converter, adjustable suspensions, wind up or down windows, so they are more luxury, if we can say luxury, and more heavier. There is not even a sound system or glove box, no carpets, and all this is just to save weight. Because this car was developed exactly for this, to deliver maximum joy and pleasure to the driver, and to feel the road and any kind of acceleration. Lots of carbon fiber and Kevlar and aluminium were used to make the body of the car, again to save the weight, and to make the car even more exotic and posh if you want. The entire front and back side are made just from one piece, and like a Lamborghini Miura, but from carbon fiber. Even the paint is very thin, and again to save weight. Actually, you can see the carbon fiber waves on the paint because, how we said, is very thin. All 1315 cars are made in left-hand drive configuration and they are painted in red. Rosso Corso, the color, the official color is called Rosso Corso. Maybe today you can see some green, blue, yellow or black Ferrari F40s, but they've been resprayed after they left the factory. Originally, the tires were fitted to the F40 are the Italian, very well-known brand Pirelli. The model is P0 Asimmetrico. I had experience with these tires many years ago with my BMW E30, 1983 BMW 318i, and the handling with these tires, Pirelli P0 Asimmetrico, is just amazing. The chassis was still the old school from 1960s and 70s, 80s if you want, tubular steel frame, but with some composite, of course, for more strength, because the car was really very powerful. So it's absolutely exotic car. Let's say again 1,100 kilograms for the early versions, mid-engine, 478 horsepower, 5-speed manual gearbox, very impulsive turbos, and the rear tires 335 35 by 17, the front 245 40 by 17. The car was a really amazing joy to drive with absolutely perfect handling, but you need to be careful with the acceleration, of course. From 0 to 100 km per hour or 62 miles per hour, just 4.1 seconds. But from 1980s, I remember the number was 4.5 seconds. Anyway, so from 0 to 200 km per hour or 124 miles per hour, 12 seconds. And the how we said earlier, the maximum speed 324 kilometers per hour or 201 miles per hour. And this was the first official road legal car in 1987 to break the record of 200 miles per hour. I had this car in my wall, actually in my bedroom, a giant poster. I think was 1 meter by 650 millimeters, something like that, approximately. And actually I still have this poster somewhere, but I need to find it. Ferrari F40 is one of the big 5 Ferraris. So the other 4 cars are the predecessor, we said early, 1984, 1987 Ferrari 288 GTO, from which Ferrari made just 272 cars. Then the car in front of us, Ferrari F40 from 1987, 1992 or 1996 for some racing models, Ferrari F40 Le Mans GT or Ferrari F40 Competizione. Then in 1995 to 1997, the next successor, Ferrari F50. Just 349 were made. Here Ferrari jumped to V12, Formula 1 engine, naturally aspirated, of course, 4.7 liter and 520 horsepower. After Ferrari F50 in 2002 was introduced the new model Ferrari Enzo. Ferrari named the car to the founder of the company, again V12, natural aspirated, but 660 horsepower. And just 399 were made, but on the end they made one more for the Pope and was painted in black, so 400 in total. And we come into the 5th Ferrari from the big 5, the LaFerrari, which was introduced like a successor for the Enzo in 2013. In total, Ferrari built 500 of Ferrari LaFerrari in coupe version, but later in 2017 they decided to build 210 open Spider versions, and they named the Ferrari LaFerrari Aperta. Again V12, but with electric assistance and 963 horsepower in total. Now, we're waiting for the replacement, or let's say the next generation of the top limited Ferraris, which eventually is going to be the number 6 from the biggest Ferraris. Ferrari F40 was a very important car for Ferrari, and it came on the right time. For me, Ferrari F40 together with Lamborghini Countach are the most iconic 1980s cars. There is no doubt about that, and will be one of the most valuable car for the future. Was and still is dream car for many people and all over the world, but not many of the cars, actually, of the owners of this car, they want to sell them. So the car is absolutely beautiful and they want to keep the car. So the car is just incredible from any angle you look in the car. Is very beautifully made. The design, we said earlier, done by Pininfarina. Inside the interior is very Spartan with just steering wheel, gear stick and handbrake, and that's it. So this is all what you have inside. But this car, how we said earlier, is made specially for this to deliver the joy the drivers need. And you need to have a lot of experience to drive this car, because from what I remember, every owner of Ferrari F40 was invited in the factory actually, and the new owner spent 5 days there in the factory, and from the factory they teach him actually how to drive the Ferrari F40, because really was very impulsive car. So you needed to be very careful with the accelerator, with the brakes as well, because there is no any electronic assistance, even there is not IBS. So really you need to be very careful. But thanks to the new tires Pirelli, they're very wide, so the car stays very stable on the road. But on the end, this is just Ferrari F40. Ferrari F40 was really a very special car for very special people. And to have the chance to buy this car was really something. You need to be someone very special. So Ferrari F40 was a really dangerous car, because how we said earlier, no electronic assistance, and you need to know how to drive the car. You can see here the 17-inch wheels, their speed line, the badge Pininfarina, the company make the design of the car, and it's just piece of art. Ferrari F40 is absolutely piece of art. 1987, 35 years ago, inside very Spartan, but the car has one purpose: to give maximum joy to the driver. You have inside, again, I'm gonna say only the gear stick, the steering wheel, 3 pedals because it's not automatic, it's manual, and here is some information about the tires, how was the pressure needs to be in the tires. The front tires are 235 40 17, rear 335 35 17. So the best tires on the time on the car, very wide, but again 478 horsepower, 1100 kilograms for the early versions. The late versions, they have been 1200 kilograms because of the additional extras, but again was very dangerous car, and you really needed to know how to drive this car. Absolutely amazing, special car for very special people. I'm gonna say again, you need to be someone really to have the chance to buy this car. And when it's wet, really you need to be very careful because the car can be even more dangerous. It's sliding very easily, so you need to know really how to drive. Ferrari F40 is gonna be is already one of the greatest cars in the world, but I'm sure in the future it's gonna be even more appreciated by our people. So guys, I hope you like the video about one of the greatest cars in the world, Ferrari F40, this Italian monster. On the same time, it's very beautiful. The rear side is absolutely amazing. So if you like the video, please subscribe my channel, and see you next time, guys. Bye.